So far, we have understood what dharma is. We made a list of disciplines required to make the best use of this beautiful opportunity of having a human birth.
उन अनुशासनों का भी एक लिस्ट बना लिया.
We understood the similarity between the understanding of life from a scientific perspective and a spiritual perspective.
परख लेने के जो प्रयत्न हुए हैं उनकी भी सिमिलैरिटी देखी.
We also saw that science is still in its adolescence stage.
अभी युवावस्था में है.
It is enthusiastic and energetic, and new explorations are happening. But using the same analogy, spirituality appears to be a wise and aged person who has a matured understanding after deep pondering. Spirituality is time-tested. Science is making new discoveries, whereas old scientific findings are being discarded as well. And as new discoveries are made, it also gets proven that the previous understanding was wrong or limited. It's also becoming clear that spiritual equations, formulas are time-tested. It is being understood that the spiritual formulas for any person's life are similar, irrespective of their geographical location, age, religion, and social background.
उनके जीवन में लागू पड़ने वाले फॉर्मूलाज सिमिलर हैं, ये समझ में आ रहा है. फिर
Then we understood the Brahman, the universe, from a spiritual angle on one hand and a scientific angle on the other hand, and realized that they are both exactly stating the same thing, that the whole universe is made up of the same energy, and that energy is called consciousness. This is what it was called by our spiritual rishis. The 5 elements are different forms of the same consciousness.
जो सबसे स्थूल स्वरूप पृथ्वी तत्व, उससे थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा सूक्ष्म जल, उससे सूक्ष्म वायु, उससे सूक्ष्म अग्नि और सबसे सूक्ष्म आकाश तत्व.
Out of these, the 4 elements of earth, water, air and fire have a lot of emptiness. And within this empty space, there is energy or consciousness. Science has stopped at this point and is trying to figure out what consciousness is made up of. What are the dynamics of this energy? And this same exploration was done by the rishis thousands of years ago, and they documented that this consciousness has 3 attributes, has 3 functions of Sat, knowingness, Chit, aliveness, and Anand, bliss. And within it, there are 3 gunas, qualities of tamas, rajas and sattva, and 3 doshas, distortions, vat, pit and kaph. And everything present within it are souls living in different stages of evolution. There is nothing like non-living in the entire existence. Every soul, whether it be from the earth element, water element, air element or fire element, every soul is evolving as per its stage, and these stages of evolution were called yonis by our rishis.
एवोल्यूशन की उन स्थितियों को हमारे ऋषियों ने योनियां कहा.
The first stage is the stone yoni, the world of stones. Then comes plant yoni, the world of plants and trees. These two are the immovable yonis, where voluntary movement is not possible. Then comes the insect yoni, the world of ants, bugs, etc., which is the first stage of movable yonis. And on one side, there is aquatic and amphibian stage of creatures in water of the fish yoni, and on the other side, parallelly, there are creatures on the land of the bird yoni. As souls evolve further, they become mammals of the animal yoni. And after that comes the human stage. The human body is the most evolved out of all.
In the process of evolution, the highest evolved physical form ये मनुष्य योनि वाला है.
Whether you look at the neurological system, respiratory system, endocrine system or digestive system,
cardiac system देख लो, respiratory system देख लो, digestive system देख लो,
the most refined form of the physical stage is the human body.
उसके बाद की जो योनियां हैं,
even souls who have evolved beyond the human yoni, if they want to come into this world, this realm with a body, then they have to take the human form only. The higher yonis of Yaksh, Gandharva and Kinnar will also take a human body only. The souls of the Devi Devta yoni can of course wander anywhere in the world without a body, but if they want to be in a physical body, then it will be of the human yoni, human body only. Then comes the stage of the Siddhas, souls who live like perfected beings by awakening the fantastic abilities and powers within. Further ahead is the Rishi yoni. And then, at the top of the evolutionary pyramid, there is only one soul of the Paramatma yoni. Such is the evolutionary process. Each and every person, every soul seated here, has evolved to this current stage of having a human body. After changing millions of bodies and passing through different yonis. But even though each soul has a human body here, every soul's stage of evolution is very different. This stage and process of evolution of a soul can be understood by the maturity and refinement of the attributes of Sat, knowingness, Chit, aliveness, and Anand, bliss of the consciousness of that soul. We will try to understand these three ingredients a little more. Every soul's evolving consciousness has the three qualities of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, and three distortions of Vat, Pit and Kaph. Keeping this in mind, evolution can be understood as the effect of Tamas on you reduces, Rajas being more and more under your control, and Sattva becoming your natural state of living. Evolution can also be gauged when the distortions of Vat, Pit and Kaph start remaining more and more balanced, and you can maneuver them at will whenever required. This is another measure or metric of evolution.
एवोल्यूशन को नापने का, समझने का एक मापदंड है.
So tamas, rajas and sattva remain in your control. Vata, pitta and kapha also remain in your control. And you are able to maneuver them as per your needs. This is also a metric of evolution.
अच्छा, इस सत, चित और आनंद वाली चेतना को हम समझ लेते हैं आज. हमने पहले जो
Let's recap the subjects we have already covered.
उसका एक स्मरण रखते हैं मन में.
So what all did we cover? We saw the 7 disciplines to be followed. First discipline is we will keep the student cap on. I am merging the first and the second discipline and stating that we will be enthusiastic and love-filled students. We are enthusiastic students, eager to learn and understand, and we are loving, compassionate students with a sense of surrender. We begin with such a state of our mind. The third discipline is that we will not entertain any negative thoughts or harmful flavors in our mind. We are actually eager to drop them. We treat our consciousness as a temple and we will not allow any filth in that temple. Let the outer world be and live the way it wants to. Suppose you came back home after an outing. The first thing to be done is washing hands and face, right? And then you move around in your home. Just like that. After engaging in the game of Maya, we drop whatever impressions the mind has gathered. Become free from it and then begin activities of our life. We do this regularly, and for that we use observe, filter, surrender for this purpose. Very soon you will see that even the filter stage is not required. It will be simply observe and surrender. The point is that you already know what needs to be dropped. There will be no need to keep on applying a filter after a little while. As soon as you become aware of something that is negative, oh, there is resentment. Drop it. Anger is coming up. Just surrender it. I am becoming a victim. Drop it. Jealousy is coming up. Just drop it, my dears. Oh, I am being affected by greed. Drop it. You have been given this discipline of observe, filter, surrender so that you can practice these commitments. But once the mind has mastered this practice, then it is just observe and surrender.
सब सुन रहे हो मेरी बात? तीसरा अनुशासन extremely valuable. Actually, सभी अनुशासन extremely valuable. हर अनुशासन का अपना अपना fantastic value है.
The fourth discipline. Now this is so that garbage does not enter this temple, so that there is less need of releasing.
तो त्यागने की जरूरत भी कम होती जाए.
So the fourth discipline is
चौथा अनुशासन करो.
Do not engage in harmful sensory activities. See, most of the negativities accumulate from seeing through the eyes and listening through the ears.
सबसे ज़्यादा गड़बड़ उसमें इकट्ठा होती है.
There is not much problem in smelling through the nose, nor is it in tasting through the tongue. We already know what is to be eaten and what should not be eaten. we are already disciplined about the sense of touch.
हम अनुशासित ही हैं, ज्यादा कोई इधर उधर का स्पर्श होता ही नहीं.
We are curtailing the possibility of gathering negativity through the remaining two senses
उसको हम कहीं curtail कर रहे हैं.
By observing the fourth discipline, we will not give unnecessary time to social media and reduce the screen time. Then the fifth discipline is that as meditators and devotees, we keep doing our sadhana, considering it as a blessing and an order from the Master to regularly kindle the connection with the Master and the Divine. Today we will learn the sixth discipline in depth, which is that we will always be ready for Swadhyay, self-exploration and Satya Sang, being with the truth. The seventh discipline is that we are eager to be instruments of transformation and upliftment of others also. We are not just ready, we are eager. Wherever I am getting a chance to be useful to someone, I want to be available. To uplift the Sat, Chit or Anand in someone's consciousness, I am available. We begin with these 7 disciplines. And then we saw that every soul experiences life through millions of lifetimes, and the individual life of every soul unfolds within them. If there are pleasant flavors in the consciousness, then life appears beautiful. And if there are negative flavors within, then quality of life is likewise. Also, the flavors arising within have such a significant effect on your outer world. If there is resentment within, then the same person appears to be like a devil. If there is love within, then the world looks very beautiful. It is said that if the mind is all right, then even small events can bring great joy. But if the mind is polluted, then how much ever beautiful is the world, it appears distorted and ugly.
लहर भी उसी पानी से बनी है जिस पानी से सागर बना है. उस पानी का स्वभाव सत, चित और आनंद है. उसको समझने की आज हम चेष्टा करेंगे. फिर इंडिविजुअल लेवल पर हमने देखा हर जीव का लाखों जन्मों वाला जीवन मोमेंट टू मोमेंट टू मोमेंट टू मोमेंट ये प्रवाह चल रहा है जीवन का. हर मोमेंट आप देखो हर जीव के लिए बाहर की दुनिया व्यक्ति वस्तु परिस्थिति वाली है और अंदर की दुनिया 7 सेक्शंस वाली शरीर, श्वास, मन, बुद्धि, चित्त, अहंकार और जीव, जीवात्मा, आत्मा, सोल, स्पिरिट, रूह, जो भी नाम देना है उसको. नाउ जीवात्मा के इस अविरत चलने वाले जीवन के प्रवाह में बाहर की दुनिया से इन्फ्लुएंस हुआ प्रभावित हुआ मन, बुद्धि, चित्त, अहंकार का खेल है. व्यक्तियों का असर होता है, वस्तुओं का असर होता है, परिस्थितियों का असर होता है, लेकिन हर जीव का इंडिविजुअल लाइफ उसके अंदर की दुनिया में घट रहा है. बाहर की दुनिया का अनुभव भी कहाँ है? तो अंदर ही है. किसी को देख के प्रसन्नता, किसी के बारे में सोच के अप्रसन्नता, ये प्रसन्नता अप्रसन्नता कहाँ हो रहे हैं? तो अंदर ही घट रहे हैं. जैसे ही ये 5 इंद्रियों के किवाड़, दरवाजे हम बंद करते हैं, बाहर की दुनिया खत्म. हर जीव का इंडिविजुअल लाइफ हर एक के अंदर. अंदर प्रसन्न भाव उठे तो जीवन सुंदर लगा, अंदर गड़बड़ वाले भाव उठे तो जीवन का क्वालिटी वैसा ही लगा. मैं ये कहता हूँ अंदर जो भाव उठे उसका आपके बाहर की दुनिया के अनुभव के ऊपर भी कितना बड़ा प्रभाव है. देखो, अंदर अगर आक्रोश है तो वही व्यक्ति राक्षसों जैसे नजर आते हैं। अंदर अगर प्रेम जगा हुआ है तो बाहर सुंदर ही सुंदर जगत समझ में आता है। कहते हैं मन चंगा तो कथरोट में भी गंगा, और मन दूषित तो कितना भी सुंदर जगत हो विकृत और विक्षिप्त ही। सब सुन रहे हो?
Are you listening?
मैं ये कह रहा हूं, हम बाहर की दुनिया को
We unnecessarily give too much importance to the outer world. Actually, it is the inner world which is important.
अच्छा, जीवन जीने
See,
की
what is the
कला का
game of the art
या
of living
अध्यात्म का
and
खेल देखो
spirituality?
क्या है।
Let there be any highs and lows in the outer world, and let there be conducive or non-conducive circumstances. The art of living is maintaining your inner beauty, joy and purity in spite of all these.
आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग है। अच्छा, तुम धीरे धीरे करते करते
Eventually you will understand, you will know this.
सब सुन रहे हो?
Are you listening?
ये भी
You will know that
तुम
as you
अपनी
change
चेतना के
the flavor
भाव
of
को
your
बदलो।
consciousness, the
बाहर की
outer
दुनिया
world
अपने
will
आप बदली
also
हुई नजर
appear to have changed.
ये कोई
Don't think of this to be just some well-sounding idea. Through practice and observation, you should experience this in your life.
करते रहना।
In order to understand this game, this practice in a deeper manner, you should understand the three functions of the mind, five functions of the intellect, and the different levels of memory. And also identify the different flavors of ego.
तब रियली समझ में आता है कि हर जीव
Then you will really understand
अपने जीवन में
that each soul is
अपना ही
playing
खेल
its
खेल रहा
own
है।
game in its own life.
आपका दोस्त आपका मन ही है।
Your mind is your friend,
आपका ही
and
मन
your
आपका
mind
दुश्मन
is
भी है।
also your enemy. A
अभ्यासित,
well-cultured and a
सुंदर हुआ
beautiful
हुआ मन
mind
हो,
also keeps
तो जीवन को
beautifying
beautify
life.
करता रहता है। बगैर
An
अभ्यास का
uncultured,
बेवकूफों
foolish
वाला मन हो,
mind will harm and
तो
damage
इसी जीवन
this
का
very
कबाड़ा
life.
करने में चूकेगा नहीं माय डियर्स। मन
The
दो
word
तरह
mind
से
is used to express
एक
two
शब्द को
meanings.
एक्सप्रेस किया गया।
Sometimes
कभी-कभी
it
मन, बुद्धि,
means
चित्त
the
और
mind,
अहंकार,
intellect,
इन
memory and
चारों
ego
को मिला
all
के
together,
मन
meaning
शब्द का
the inner
इस्तेमाल
world.
किया गया। अंदर
The
की
other
दुनिया।
is when it refers to only the
कभी-कभी
mind
मन के
out of
तीन
the
कार्य,
mind, intellect,
बुद्धि के
memory and
पांच
ego.
कार्य, चित्त के 4 लेवल्स, ईगो के अलग-अलग फ्लेवर्स, इनको अलग-अलग समझा गया। मैं
I recommend
करता
that
हूं,
we will use
कभी-कभी
this single word mind
colloquially
to refer
या
the inner world,
सहूलियत के लिए
but when required we will also refer to
हम
the
ये
different functions of mind,
मन शब्द का
intellect,
इस्तेमाल
memory
कर
and
लेंगे
ego
अपने अंदर की
and their
दुनिया को
different
पूरी तरह से
functions.
एक्सप्रेस करने के लिए। सब सुन रहे हो ना? लेकिन ज़्यादातर हम यही करेंगे। मन के, बुद्धि के, चित्त के और अहंकार के कार्य अलग अलग हैं, अलग अलग रोल निभा रहा है। मन के 3 कार्य
Which are the
कौन से
three
हैं?
functions
तो
of the
देखो,
mind? It
5
perceives
इंद्रियों
the
के
outer
द्वारा
world
वो
through the
बाहर
5
की दुनिया को
senses,
अंदर लेता है,
which is called perception.
अपने
It is
आप के
aware
बारे
of
में भी
itself,
सजग हो रहा
which
है,
is observation, and it expresses itself
वाचा
through
और
words and
कर्मणा के
actions,
द्वारा
which
अपने
is
आप को
expression.
express करता है, expression.
This is
Perception,
the
observation,
first function
expression,
of the
मन का
mind.
पहला कार्य।
The
भूत और
second
भविष्य
function
के
of the
बारे में
mind
विचार और
is
धारणाएं,
thoughts and
ये मन का
emotions
दूसरा
about
कार्य।
the past and future,
और जब मन
and
स्थिर होता है,
experiencing
तो प्रसन्नता,
awareness and stillness
स्थिरता,
in the present
सजगता।
moment.
ये दूसरा वो कार्य है मन का, स्थिर होने पर ये अनुभव करता है। मन
The
का
third
तीसरा
function
कार्य
of the mind is
मनसा,
providing
वाचा और
options,
कर्मणा, तीनों
alternatives
sections में
in the three sections of
alternatives,
thoughts,
options देते
words
रहने
and
का
actions.
कार्य करता है। Choices
It
provide
keeps
करता
providing
रहता है।
choices. This is
ये
the
तीसरा
third
कार्य
function
है।
of the mind.
फिर हमने कल
We
देखा
saw
बुद्धि
the
के
5
पांच
functions of the
कार्य,
intellect yesterday: understanding, misunderstanding, judging and labeling, decision making and logic. Logic has 3 sections of tark logic, kutark twisted logic and vitark special logic.
चेतन, अचेतन,
Then in the memory
अवचेतन,
there are 4
चार
states:
अवस्थाएं।
conscious, subconscious, unconscious and
नाम और
superconscious.
रूप के साथ घटनाएं
Remembering
याद
events
रहना
with names
चेतन
and
अवस्था
forms is the conscious state. In the
अचेतन में
subconscious state,
तुम
you
घटनाएं
forgot
भूल चुके
the
हो,
events, but emotions
लेकिन emotions
remained.
रहेंगे।
In the unconscious state,
अवचेतन
there are
अवस्था
tendencies
में
of flavors
बार
getting
बार
triggered
उठे हुए
again and
भावों की
again.
वृत्तियां बन गई। ये अवचेतन अवस्था सब लोग
Listen to this carefully. Is everybody listening? Even after the body drops, this memory at the unconscious level is going to continue. Some portion of the subconscious and the unconscious memory does not get dropped with the body. It goes ahead with the soul. That is why even a newborn baby will have a specific nature. And then in the superconscious state, Suchetan Avastha, there is remembrance of your true nature. In that Suchetan Avastha, you get this option to remember your true nature at will, whenever you wish.
फिर हमने देखे थे ईगो के 11 फ्लेवर्स: सुपीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स, इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स, गिल्ट विक्टिम, डिफेंस अलूफ, अटैक कंप्लेंट, जजमेंटलनेस डूअरशिप और सेल्फ ओरिएंटेडनेस स्वार्थीपन। ऐसे 11 फ्लेवर वाला ईगो तीन कार्यों वाला मन, 5 कार्यों वाली बुद्धि, 4 लेवल्स वाला चित्त और 11 फ्लेवर्स वाला ईगो, उन सभी मसालों को लेकर जीने वाले हर जीव और उस जीव की चेतना सत, चित और आनंद वाली है। ब्रह्म की चेतना या व्यक्तिगत चेतना, सत, चित और आनंद वाले 3 एट्रीब्यूट्स से, 3 लक्षणों से, 3 फंक्शनैलिटीज से बनी हुई।
Try to understand these 3 attributes by referring to your individual life experiences.
जीवन के अनुभव से
Within every soul, there is a naturally ingrained ability to understand, to figure out life through their own life experiences.
अनुभवों के द्वारा जीवन को
Every soul understood those facets of different diamonds it was exposed to
क्षमता
as per the available opportunities.
हर जीव के जीवन में जो जो मौके खुलते गए, अलग अलग डायमंड्स के जो पहलू आपके सामने उजागर होते गए, उन पहलुओं को आपने जान लिया। ये जरूर हो सकता है
It is possible that someone might not have understood every facet of the diamond in every subject present within everyone. This ability is called Sat, knowingness. Your ability to know, if you observe carefully, your desire to know is also ingrained in it. As soon as you see something worth knowing, the desire to know arises on its own, which can be called curiosity. Your ability to know can be called awareness, which is present in everyone.
Also is ingrained in it.
Your desire to know
जैसे
can be
ही
called
जानने
curiosity,
योग्य कोई
is
चीज
present
समझ
in
में आती है,
everyone.
जानने की इच्छा
And every
अपने आप ही
soul's
जगती है,
consciousness
जिसको हम
has the
जिज्ञासा
ability
कह
to
सकते हैं।
retain, to hold on to
Your
whatever
ability to
knowledge
know
was gathered through
को
different
हम awareness कह
experiences.
सकते हैं। वो हर एक के अंदर है।
So your ability to know, your desire to know, and what
जिसको
you have
हम
known
जिज्ञासा
so
कह
far,
सकते हैं,
these
वो भी
three
हर एक के
together
अंदर है।
make up the Sat,
और हर
knowingness
जीव ने
of a soul.
जो अनुभव किए, वो ज्ञान जो अर्जित हुआ, उस ज्ञान को होल्ड करने वाली भी यही चेतना है।
You tell me, Sat has all three aspects or not in truth? The more you understand a subject in depth, naturally the desire and the ability arises to know it in greater depth.
सत में, ट्रुथ में ये तीनों एस्पेक्ट्स हैं कि नहीं मुझे बताओ। आप ये देखिए, जो सब्जेक्ट
And opportunities also arise to further explore the subject at a greater depth. What I am saying is,
इच्छा भी जगी और क्षमता भी जगी, और उस जाने हुए स्तर को लेकर और गहराई से जानने की अपने आप ही मौके भी बने। मैं ये कह रहा हूं,
this whole process of knowingness is your Sat.
तो the knowingness is Sat.
Your ability to know, your desire to know, and what you have known so far. You will not be able to separate these three. They are so interconnected, so profoundly attached to each other. Whatever you came to know, the desire to know more about it also came up, and the ability was also there. So you could knew it in depth. If someone has understood music, then they easily figure out if there is a mistake in the musical note. Those who have not understood music cannot identify the mistake even after listening to it. For example, if someone does not know the art of making food, then they might say, I did not like the taste. But someone who knows the skill of cooking, they would be able to say there is less salt or there is more chili, so it is not tasting well.
या ये डालने पर ठीक हो जाएगा।
Once you know a subject, the ability to know it in depth also increases, and as a result, you know it in greater depth.
उसी सब्जेक्ट को और गहराई से जानना,
this process has continued, and hence, after knowing thousands, millions of subjects, every soul present here is living in its current state of Sat, the knowingness.
वर्तमान सत की स्थिति के साथ आज जीवन जी रहा है।
Another aspect of the same consciousness is Chit, aliveness. You can call it your liveliness, your aliveness, your energy, power, prana, kundalini
का संचार। आप ये देखिए, चेतना जड़ नहीं,
consciousness is not
चेतन है,
insentient. It is alive, pulsating, vibrating energy. Sometimes your aliveness decreases due to your own activities.
अपना aliveness कम हुआ होता है।
Your level of energy, life force, prana is low.
लेवल नीचे गिरा हुआ होता है। कभी
Sometimes that level of prana is high as well.
हुआ होता है। अच्छा,
this pran, aliveness, can be called Chit.
आप ये देखें,
you can also observe by which activities prana increases.
कौन से कार्यों से प्राण चढ़ता है, तो उसमें जैसे हम
you will see there are 4 sources of energy: food, sleep, breath, and the fourth most important, your pleasant, happy, knowledge-oriented mind.
ये जो चित है, जैसे सत,
just like Sat, knowingness means the ability to know, the desire to know, and whatever you have known so far, Chit is the
उसको
aliveness,
कहूँगा
prana,
aliveness.
energy and
प्राण,
kundalini.
ऊर्जा, शक्ति, कुंडलिनी. Your ये देखिएगा, जितना ऊर्जा का स्तर चढ़ा हुआ, वो
The level of your energy will impact each and every experience of yours in the corresponding manner. If the level of your energy is low, then even after knowing everything, the experience of life for those moments is of a lower quality. This is Chit. And the third ingredient of every soul's and the Brahman's consciousness is Anand, bliss.
आनंद, प्रसन्नता. आप ये देखिएगा,
by your own life experience, you can see that in order to be happy, to be joyful, you do not need any reason. Observe your own life experiences so far. You need some reason to be unhappy. When there is some reason for unhappiness in the mind, then for some time you are unhappy. As soon as that reason gets dropped from the mind, you are happy, as happiness is the nature of your consciousness. And hence, observe, filter, surrender is so important. If you are ready to drop the reasons for unhappiness, then you can live life happily, as happiness is in the basic nature of consciousness. That is why sometimes I say that that art of living is actually the art of leaving. It is the art of letting go. As soon as the reasons behind unhappiness got dropped, you were naturally happy. It is possible that if the ego of different flavors is in the driving seat, then it will not let you drop the reasons for unhappiness.
अब देखिए, victim consciousness वाला ego,
in spite of knowing what is good for you and what is not, what is giving you sorrow and what is making you happy,
दुखी कर रहा है, क्या आपको प्रसन्न कर रहा है, होने पर भी
the ego of victim consciousness is only interested in blaming someone and holds on to the reasons of unhappiness. This is the game of the ego of victim consciousness. That is why I am saying,
थोड़ा सा courageously,
be ready to courageously drop the reasons behind unhappiness and live happily.
अच्छा, ये हो सकता है
It is possible that in the subconscious memory, we do not remember the reasons behind unhappiness.
वो याद ना रहे. अवचेतन स्थिति में
the tendencies present in the unconscious memory for a long time might keep making you unhappy. I recommend that even if you don't know how these tendencies were formed, it doesn't matter.
वो तुम जानो या ना जानो, it doesn't matter.
As soon as the mind experiences unhappiness or unpleasantness, just keep releasing it, dropping it. Do remember that if the file is large, it will take a longer time to be deleted. But the delete button always works. Learn the art of letting go, of surrendering.
अच्छा, बहुत
Very soon, we are going to understand the Shadripus, the 6 enemies of consciousness, which are the tendencies that harm your consciousness in the long run. pollute it and make it unpleasant. Once we learn that, we'll be able to make a checklist of what you need to be free from and what you want to drop from your mind. You can be free from the factors which pollute the consciousness and harm its basic nature. This attribute of Anand, bliss, happiness, if we understand in a little more detail, this also has different flavors. At times, there is valor in the mind and it is happy. If something good happens for the nation, then joy gets awakened in your consciousness. Sometimes, happiness gets expressed in the flavor of compassion. Sometimes Anand takes the form of love. Sometimes happiness is in the flavor of dispassion. So these different forms of happiness are naturally there in your consciousness. It is possible that these different flavors of Anand bliss have blossomed in different intensities in different souls. But observe the game here. So far, each soul got different opportunities to experience different flavors of bliss in different intensities, and hence those flavors got blossomed accordingly. Now let's take an example of someone who is living with the flavor of valor. A soldier of the Indian Army stands with a rifle at minus 20 degrees at Siachen Glacier, which is 16,000 feet above the sea level. And is ready to sacrifice his body in the service of the nation at the border. The flavor of valor would have blossomed with such intensity in that consciousness. A businessman dealing with worldly affairs might not even understand this. And it is not his fault. Some other flavor of Anand bliss would have blossomed in his consciousness. Different flavors of bliss blossom in a soul's consciousness as per the kind of opportunities provided for it by life and by nature. You can also create such opportunities for yourself in order to blossom the different flavors of bliss in your consciousness. That is the interesting thing. As bliss is ingrained in the basic nature of consciousness. Many times you will observe that there are tears in the eyes. The mind is filled with compassion, but it is happy. Suppose the flavor of devotion has intensely blossomed in someone's consciousness, then as soon as we sing a devotional song or share a guru story, they start crying uncontrollably out of love and longing. Then some other person who has not experienced the flavor of intense devotion might feel, oh, what happened to them? They were okay till now. I am saying, my dear, it is all right. Nothing has happened to them. The already matured flavor of devotion got triggered in their consciousness, and as soon as they found a conducive environment, and they started experiencing intense devotion again. People who do not have such a maturing of devotion in their consciousness will not understand this. This is what I am saying. Our consciousness is made up of Sat, Chit and Anand. And the ability to know every truth of life is there in everyone. The ability to vibrate at the highest level of energy is also there in everyone's consciousness. the ability to intensely experience and live with every flavor of bliss is also there in every soul. If such opportunities are presented to that soul. This is actually what is called the education system. This is what the traditional Indian educational institutions of Gurukuls were doing some 300 to 400 years ago. The consciousness of any new student admitted in the Gurukul was analyzed to gauge which flavors have blossomed already or which flavors have blossomed more and which flavors have blossomed less. And then the student would be trained as per whichever flavors are needed to be nurtured, so that every soul lives with full blossoming of their inner abilities. This used to be the Gurukul system. If we observe today's education system, we call it the education system, but there is no scope of blossoming the inner powers, inner abilities, the inner beauty in each soul. This so-called education system has 12 years of schooling, 4 years of graduation, 2-3 years of post-graduation. A student studies for 18-19 years and yet it is not given any wisdom, any knowledge about their intellect, their beautiful inner abilities, which should be part of our education system. This is what my point is. Suppose we look at it from a broader perspective, then what is evolution? What is progress? After passing through different yonis, a soul is now in the human yoni. And what happened in this process of evolution? The soul knew less before, and as that knowingness got more and more matured, truth blossomed more and more, aliveness got uplifted gradually, and the different beautiful flavors of bliss got even more intense. This is what is called the process of evolution, my dears. Observe your life. Whatever activities you are doing from morning to night, what is the purpose behind all these activities? What is the purpose behind everything that you are doing in your life? If you observe carefully, in some activities, Sat is in the driving seat. Either you are doing that activity to know something, or you have profoundly known that, understood something, and that is getting expressed there. Either to know something or to be driven by something that you have already known, you are doing those activities. Whenever any activity is being done in order to know something or as a result of knowing something, Sat is at the driving seat. In some other activities, Chit is at the driving seat. As aliveness is uplifted and it is driving you to do something, that energy, that life force is kindled and it is making you to do that activity. Whereas you also do some activities in order to uplift your energy. For example, you have food, you sleep if you feel tired, you do pranayams, you keep your mind happy. What is the purpose behind these activities? The purpose is that energy remains high and that high energy keeps expressing itself. Are you listening to me? In both types of these activities, Chit, aliveness, is in the driving seat. Some activities are inspired by Sat, some are inspired by Chit. But if you look at your life, then most of the activities are inspired by Anand, bliss, my dears. The whole game is about Anand.
प्रेम चढ़ा हुआ है,
When love is kindled, what all does it make you do?
वीर रस चढ़ा हुआ है तो तुम्हें क्या क्या खेल
If the flavor of valor is triggered, what all incredible things one does. The flavor of compassion can compel you to do such fantastic seva. If the flavor of romance is triggered, such beautiful and amusing games will it make you play. Observe children as they play. Observe small little puppies. The whole creation is inspired and driven by Anand.
आनंद से प्रेरित है. लहलहाते खेतों से लेकर, खलखल बहती नदियों से लेकर, पहाड़ों से लेकर,
from beautiful farmlands to rivers flowing happily, from mountains to the celebrating winds, the whole existence is a play of Ananda, my dears. Whichever flavor of Ananda got blossomed within you, it incredibly will drive you to do so many activities in your life. So many activities you do in order to obtain Anand, to get happiness, to get love. So either it will be an attempt to experience pleasure or it will be an expression of happiness, Ananda. If you observe the life of every soul, it is an expression of these three, Sat, Chit and Anand.
इन तीनों की ही अभिव्यक्तियां दिखी जाएंगी.
The point here is this: our consciousness is made up of Sat, Chit and Anand, and that consciousness is also the driving forces of our lives.
हमारे जीवन का ड्राइविंग फोर्स भी है, माय डियर्स.
The process of intensifying, refining and uplifting it is exactly what evolution is.
हम evolution कह रहे हैं, my dears. आज अगर
let's understand the whole universe from this perspective now.
समझ लिया जाए, और अगर तुम ये कर सको,
keep expanding your mind and view the planet Earth from a broader vision. Then you will see that what is the purpose, what is the factor driving each and every particle, every soul. Where is the world heading to? You will see
किस फैक्टर से प्रेरित है, ये पूरी सृष्टि कहाँ जा रही है. तो तुम देखोगे
at the macro level or at the most micro level. Every particle is evolving in terms of the three attributes of Sat, Chit and Ananda, and as a result, it is like this. In the present, this process of evolution has been going on for billions of years and will continue for trillions of years. The souls keep evolving from stone yoni to plant yoni to insect yoni, from insect yoni to animal yoni, and then to human yoni. Eventually from human yoni to Yaksh, Gandharva and Kinnars, followed by Devi Devta yoni, followed by the Siddha yoni, and finally attain liberation, moksha, and merge into the infinite Brahman, universal consciousness. And this process will continue for eternity, my dears. And by eternity I do not mean 50 billion years. I literally mean to say infinite time.
अनंत काल तक चलती रहेगी.
Within which there will be countless cycles of the golden age of Satyug, followed by the silver age of Treta Yuga, followed by the bronze age of Dwapar Yuga, followed by the iron age of Kali. After which again Satyug followed by Treta, then Dwapar, then Kali. It will ceaselessly continue for uncountable cycles. Such is the game of evolution. Whether it be individual soul or the entire creation. The conclusion is the consciousness that we are made up of, the complete blossoming of that consciousness, to make it more and more refined, mature. Doing this, you can choose the purpose of this human birth to be the evolution, refinement and upliftment of your consciousness. All other roles and games of families, profession, worldly obligations,
जो भी खेल हैं, जैसे ही ये
as soon as this body drops, are going to be null and void.
एक साथ में खत्म होने वाले हैं.
What will remain after that? What is going to continue with you? Only the refinement and maturity achieved for the consciousness in this lifetime is going to continue after this lifetime. For some span of time, life will continue without the body till you get another body. But this journey is forever. The interesting thing is, it's almost like a saving grace. That nature is evolving on its own. Even at the level of each and every soul, whether you do something or not, whether you act voluntarily or not.
तुम कुछ करो या ना करो, जानबूझ के तुमसे कोई एक्शन हो या ना हो,
you are going to keep evolving naturally anyway.
अभी देखिए,
for example, we don't know how, but each of these souls here have evolved to this stage after a journey of millions of lifetimes. They must have changed so many bodies. If you ask, have they put in some great efforts for the purpose of evolution? Perhaps the answer would be no. But they have still reached there. This process of evolution, I see it like driving an automatic car.
Driving an automatic car.
If you keep a car with automatic gears in the drive mode, keep the car on and do not apply brakes, then the car is going to move ahead even if you do not press the accelerator. It will move slowly, but it will keep moving ahead. Such is the process of evolution.
ऐसा ही प्रोसेस है एवोल्यूशन का.
The car is in the drive mode. Whether or not you press the accelerator, it is going to move ahead at a slow speed, in a relaxed manner. But the interesting thing is, the creator of the car, the manufacturer, has also included an accelerator in the same car. If you want to change the gear, then turbo gear and sports gear are also available. But if the car is in the sports gear and you are accelerating, then you will have to be more alert while driving. You will have to be ready to use the car controls with more awareness. I consider spirituality to be exactly like this process. Spirituality means speeding up the process of evolution, which is involuntarily happening on its own. But you are, with your effort, speeding up that process. If you observe carefully, the blessings bestowed upon us by Gurudev are refining our Sat-Chit-Ananda. Which are these blessings? These blessings are of sadhana, satsang and seva. Through sadhana, your aliveness, chit, is uplifted. What is getting refined through satsang, company of the truth and knowledge sessions? Sat, knowingness, is getting refined. And what is getting uplifted through seva? Then I would say your level of anand, bliss, is uplifted through seva. Through chanting and singing in satsang, what is getting kindled? Anand, bliss, is getting kindled. All the refined and beautiful flavors of bliss are getting more and more blossomed. If you observe carefully, there is an incredible paradigm shift that happens in a very short span in a person's level of Sat-Chit-Ananda who are regularly doing sadhana, who are involved in satsang, and who are available for seva. Are you able to see that speeding up of evolution, that acceleration in the lives of people who do not have sadhana, satsang and seva?
उनके जीवन में दिख रहा है क्या, वो देख लेना.
Are you listening to what I am saying? The Brahman made up of consciousness is expressing itself only through every action. Somewhere Sat is getting expressed. Somewhere it is the game of Chit. But at most of the places, it is the game of Anand only.
Jai Krishna.